Ladies and gentlemen, the beat goes on.
Turn it up.
What you're about to hear may cause your speakers to explode.
Grant's Rock Warehouse is keeping it real in the field.
Get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and we are live. Welcome to another episode of Convert the Critic. Who's the critic? I am the critic. I don't like Bon Jovi, but we're going to take a look at two albums. Maybe I can be converted. Crush from 2000 and Bounce from 2002. Let's do it.
Grant is trying to change the world one track at a time. Grant's Rock Warehouse is keeping it real in the field.
All right, Elder, just in time. You probably can't hear me. I want to welcome everybody to the show. It's yet another episode in the Bon Jovi series. Tonight we're looking at Crush and Bounce. So Crush, what? Crush 2002. What was it, Ladano? What's the years on these?
Crush is
2002
2000 and Bounce is
2002.
2002.
All right. Elder, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. I want to welcome Michael Ladano, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. All fresh and ready to go.
So Mike's grab a stack of rock, right?
Yeah.
So we got Parish of Rock and Elder of Rock. So it's another of rock episode.
Why is it with all these of rocks? It just must be like some kind of disease or something. Anyway. Yeah,
it's a trend.
So everybody's here. I want to welcome everybody here. I also want to welcome everybody in the chat. Let's just bounce over there before we get started. I do know that young Logan was here giving us crap already.
Young Logan is too young. He wasn't even born when Bounce came out.
Yeah, he's probably never heard it. I mean, I never heard it until we're going to do this show, so... the Cretans here, ladies and gentlemen, part of the Parish fan club. As long as it isn't country.
I see we have half of Kiss in the house too. We've got Ace and you've got Gene, so we've got half of Kiss.
We got half.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. This is great. All right, kids. Well, we're going to do this now. We know how we do this. We'll go around. We're going to do one album per half an hour. So we'll start out with Crush. We'll take it around and get everybody's opinion of it. The whole thing is to try to convert Grant on these CDs because I don't like Bon Jovi. And there's been some okay records, I think, so far, but nothing that's really
I'm sure you gave these days a 10. I'm sure you did.
That's a good album.
Well, I thought it's getting better. I thought that they're getting better.
You did, yeah.
10 might be a bit of a stretch, but I think we're getting better.
It might have been 10 out of 20, but you gave it a...
I thought it was better, though.
Have you lost me?
Ladies and gentlemen, John the Music Nut is here. There he is. Look at him. Nathan, nice to see you. Kyle, nice to see you. Hot Garbage, excellent. I don't know where young Logan is. I'm sure Connie's probably tucking him in right about now. But anyway, so
that daylight savings time and killed him.
It did. He can't handle that crap. He's Kyle is spreading the rumors about John the Music Nut. So anyway, we're gonna start out with the first album, Crush. So that's from 2000. Actually, I don't know. Let me throw it over to Ladano. He can start us out on this. Mr. Ladano, you want to start us out? We want to know your thoughts on Crush and your rating out of 10. And then we're just going to go around the horn. We'll do this in a half an hour. In the next half an hour, we'll start the next record. And when I look to everyone in the chat, I will want your rating out of 10 when I'm ready. So don't give it to me yet. So anyway, Mr. Ladano, what's your thoughts on Crush?
So as I warned everyone in the group chat, I was not the biggest fan of Crush when it came out. The aforementioned These Days, I considered that 10 out of 10 for me personally. That was a plateau for me. And then with Crush, I felt I was disappointed that they didn't take it to another level and instead took it back to the, a clear callback to Living on a Prayer with It's My Life. Okay. I didn't like that. That wasn't what I was into at the time, but I will acknowledge, I like I always do, I gave these albums more listens this week, and I talked to some friends, and John T. Snow is like, oh man, Crush, it's a killer album. And I know a lot of people who really like it. So in terms of songs that I like on this album, you know what? It's My Life. I sing along to it every time.
Oh.
You might, if you had me on earlier, you would have saw me air guitaring. I really like Just Older, because as I age, I feel those lyrics. I'm not old, just older. I thought She's a Mystery was a really nice understated ballad with some nice brush work. I could swear I heard Tico playing the brushes. There's some good stuff on this. One Wild Night I like a lot, although I prefer the remixed or re-recorded version that they did on the next album, the live album One Wild Night. I Got the Girl. It's catchy. It's fun. I can see why a lot of people like the song Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars as well. Like it's undeniably catchy. Like I've got it stuck in my head. So yeah, it's not my favorite of the pair that we're talking about tonight. Full disclosure, I would probably personally give it a 6.5 out of 10. But if I adjust for my own personal biases, a solid 7.5 out of 10. And while I'm talking, I'll just show you the CD singles that I have. You already saw it. It's My Life, but there's Say It Isn't So. And there's It's My Life again. And there was another one. I swear to God. Thank You for Loving Me.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, David's here. All right, hold on. Will it make you non-big?
Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. It's all good. Just
Here.
to get you caught up, welcome to the show, Dave. Nice to see you. So I've started out with Mr. Lodano.
Yes.
If you don't know Mike Lodano, everybody, Dave, the elder, Parish. We're just going around. Lodano just gave us his rating, a 7.5. And we're just going around, Dave. I'm going to go to the Parish, and then
Okay.
and then we'll just keep looping around. So anyway, glad you're here. Thanks.
Starting with Crush, I'm assuming.
We are starting with Crush.
Beautiful.
All right, cool. All right, Mr. Lodano, thank you very much. I'm going to go with a 7.5. Good? All right, excellent. All right, let's throw it over to, ladies and gentlemen, the Parish of Rock. Parish, your thoughts on Crush?
Okay, well, before I go into the album, I just thought I'd recap on the album itself. So it was 5 years since the previous one, These Days. And it was a huge hit around the world. So driven, I think, by It's My Life, which was the lead single, which got to top 5 in most countries other than the US. It was number 3 in the UK, number 5 in Australia, number 1 in almost every European country. So a huge hit. It sold 5 million across the world, 2 million in America. Number 1 album in the UK. So this was a huge album and was almost like a big comeback. And for me, they played 4 gigs in the UK for this, and I was at every single one of the gigs. So I was absolutely up there with regards to Bon Jovi being back. And I have to say, I really like this album. It's not my favourite. These Days is my favourite, but it probably ties with my second. Sorry, Keep the Faith is my favourite. But it probably ties with my second favourite.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Parish?
So, he's keeping us in suspense. His second favorite.
Wait a minute. He's just...
He's really...
Not, wait a minute. Now you're back.
I'm back.
What's your second favorite?
There. My second favourite is These Days. So you were there. Hanging suspense, that was called, just keeping you hanging there.
Yeah,
this is joint second with These Days.
We're on the edge of our seats.
I think It's My Life is a brilliant song, a really good opener. I think this is an album where the band have suddenly decided they don't give a shit. They're not chasing trains. They're just going to be Bon Jovi and do what they want to do. And as a result of that, you've got quite a lot of different styles. So It's My Life definitely is a sort of repeat, if you like, a playback from the 80s. Say It Isn't So, I think it's a quirky pop song. I don't particularly like their ballads, as everybody knows. I'm not a ballads fan, but I don't mind Thank You for Loving Me, and I think the guitar on it's really good. Two Story Town, I think it's another good song.
Yeah.
Here's, I think, could be one of the heaviest they've ever done. That riff, I think, is absolutely fantastic, and the drums by Tico is really heavy. Just Older, I think, has been my theme since 2000. As you said, I'm not old, I'm just older. Every time I think I'm getting old, I think of this song. Mystery Train is good, Save the World. But the song that elevates this for me is Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars. I think that is just a brilliant, brilliant pop rock. It's
suspenseful again.
I think it sounds like Oasis.
You know how
That
to do
track.
that. He's good at that.
Well, yeah, I guess it could. I can see that.
It sounds like Be Here Now era Oasis.
Is that good or bad? A lot of people don't want
I
their
love-
Bon Jovi to sound like Oasis.
I love that album. I love that album. So for me, that's a compliment.
All right, Parish, you still with us? Good Lord, he's trapped in time and space. Well, let's keep going, and we'll bring the Parish back in when we can. We'll see. He's somewhere. All right, I'm going to throw it over to the Elder of Rock and get
All
his.
right.
Elder,
I
go
actually took
ahead.
some
What?
notes. Yeah,
We'll
actually
bring
took
him
some
back
notes. I'm
in.
tired of I'll watch these things back and I'll go, oh man, I meant to say this too. So anyway, so Crush. All right, that's Crush, right? Yeah, Crush.
Crush.
It's My Life. Yeah, sequel to Living on a Prayer. Brings the talk box back. Good catchy song. I guess it's a good single to start out with. Bring and I guess furthering the story of Tommy and Gina. I guess too, right? Say It Isn't So is a cool mid-tempo song. It's a good chorus. Thank You for Loving Me. It's a ballad. I don't know. I'm not a ballads guy, really, like Parish, but at least the lyrics are sincere. They seem sincere, like maybe for his wife or something like that. So I think that's kind of cool. Two Story Town. I thought it was catchy. It could have been a single. I don't know if it was a single, but it sounds like it has that singles vibe. Like I could hear it on the radio or something. Next 100 Years of the semi ballad started out cool, but then petered out. And the solo by Richie is kind of disappointing. Just Older, I think, like Parish was saying, and all that was Mike there was saying is good, and good introspective song about getting older and getting wiser, maybe. Mystery Train, I just put meh.
Oh boy.
Save the World, I just put another ballad. It's another Bon Jovi ballad, I guess, but I'm not a fan of ballads. Shows off, I guess, their Beatles influence a little. And it reminds me, like, I would like to, if Jellyfish was still around, I would like to see them do this. It sounds me so.
It's like internet hell today.
No, I got caught in the time web, the time space.
Why
thing.
is it in that spot on that side of the screen that has issues?
It's the corner of death.
Everybody still there?
What is it? The corner of it's the corner of death. My God.
I have to switch. I tried to do it on my computer.
Oh,
Switch to my
don't do
phone.
that. Yeah, switch to your phone. Or you want what is that your computer?
Oh, wait, let me see if okay.
This
is hold on. Let me see if I can finish this.
Okay.
Okay, She's a Mystery is another ballad. Which was okay. I Got the Girl is a nice poppy song. Reminds me of What I Like About You by the Romantics or something.
Yeah.
I'll switch to my phone.
There I must have a sound effect for this somewhere.
Did you
Let's
get all
see.
that?
No.
I'm gonna switch to my phone.
Hey, Grant, every time somebody freezes, you just need to have the sound effect of the old AOL dial-up going. Every time
Yeah.
right?
We'll just go. There, we'll throw that up. Anyway, go ahead, Elder.
Oh, he's gone ahead.
He's gone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying
Oh.
tonight's show. We had a crap problems on the April Wine show
Can you hear me now?
over the week. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
Okay. All right. We'll bring you back in. Parish, go ahead and pick up where you left off.
Okay, well, I've got to Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars, and I think this is one of the best glam rock songs of the 2000s. It's just got some great lyrics, like a codfish with a suitcase. Where else would you hear lyrics like that? But the lyrics I really like is dressed up like Ziggy but couldn't play guitar. I just think that's such a good sort of twist on the Ziggy Stardust song. So I think that's a brilliant pop song. It could almost be power pop in my. She's a Mystery. I like. I've Got the Girl. I think it's a good pop rock song. But One Wild Night, I think it's a great song as well. So I think on this album there was 3 fantastic songs. The opener, It's My Life. Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars, which I think is, I've seen them play when they come over here, they seem to play that song every time. So I've seen them play that live, really good. And One Wild Night. So 3 really good songs in my view, which I don't think is bad going for a band who's 20 years into their career at this point. I think it's pretty good going. So
Yeah, it's pretty
really
good.
like this album. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh, dog. All right. 8 out of 10. Sweet. All right. Thanks, Parish. It's sort of David. David, what's your
Cheers.
thoughts on Crush and your rating out of 10?
Yeah, so interesting going back to these records, so many years later and and doing these panels and having to think about them a little bit. But, as we're going through the catalog, it seems like there's some definite eras of this band. And I feel like this almost introduces the next era to come, right? And I think, they navigated the 90s. We talked about those records. They came out of the 80s with this huge, success, and then sort of navigated the 90s with a couple of, successful albums, right? Platinum records. We talked about them. They had a few hits scattered in there, and always on the greatest hits. And there's some on Keep the Faith. And we talked about that. And then kind of this 2000, right? So now new decade, new record. They've had some time off, probably maybe the largest break, or tied. I think 5 years between New Jersey and Keep the Faith. But so this may be head and head, neck and neck with their longest break between records. And they sort of come back, and this sort of introduces the next era, which I think will, for me, it sort of kind of signifies kind of where they're going and cover, kind of where they will be for the next few records, which we'll talk about. And I think the album has a lot of high points. I mean, and I certainly, driven by It's My Life, which we talked about, sort of revisits the talk box, revisits Tommy and Gina. It's a huge hit. And I think when thinking about this, I think it's really this record that separates this band from, say, like a Def Leppard, right? And taking nothing away from Def Leppard, but like this is their second big spike in popularity. Like without this, they're probably Def Leppard, right? I mean, and like Def Leppard, huge, great band, right? But Bon Jovi was able to have this second huge spike in popularity with this record, which I think has carried them, kind of in perpetuity. It's allowed them to do some things that I did, even as a fan. I have every record, and I'll admit that right now. Some I like, some I don't. We'll talk about it, but I've got everything. And so obviously foundational band for me. But I feel like this record, without this record and without the success of It's My Life, they're not able to navigate the things that they've navigated. Like literally being able to still play stadiums this late in the game without being on a bill with Journey. Like Def Leppard's, I use Def Leppard as an example because it's sort of neck and neck in the 80s, right? With Hysteria and Slippery, they kind of have there's this similarity, right? But like they, this allowed them to sort of have that perpetuity in terms of almost like Metallica. It doesn't matter what they do. Metallica can put out Lulu and play stadiums. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. They can play they can do 72 seasons. Some people like it, some people don't. They can play stadiums. It really doesn't matter what they do now. Forever they'll play stadiums. They're hit, and Bon Jovi to some degree has sort of, this album introduced them to a new generation and had the second spike of huge popularity, which kind of made them not just this nostalgia band, which put them sort of in the current. And I think they've carried that, right? I mean, look, they just announced a bunch of dates. They're playing multiple dates at Madison Square Garden and Wembley by themselves. They're carrying it, right? 5-6 nights a piece, right? It's crazy. And I think most importantly, which I never thought that they would be able to do, was replace Richie and keep their level of popularity. I wouldn't have never thought that was possible. Like, even as a fan, I would say he's too important with the vocal harmonies and the writing and the guitar playing. He's too important to their sound to be able to replace him and be able to continue and play stadiums. And they've done it. Like, I would have bet paycheck or two that they would have taken a step backward by losing Richie, and it didn't happen. So I think that this record really is what allows that to happen now, right? Has allowed that to happen. Give them that second life, that second level of success, right? They're not just living off of Slippery and Wet in New Jersey and whatever, right? So speaking of the album, I really like it. I think this sort of enters into an era where there aren't going to be any, I guess, I won't give it away, but probably no 9s and 10s on albums for me, going forward. I think this is where Bon Jovi starts to get spotty. There's some things I really like on almost every record, bar 1 or 2. And there's some things I really don't like on every record. There's not like this masterpiece for me anyway. So, I think it's sort of, I think they covered it, some, Elder and Parish, It's My Life for me, Just Older for me, Captain Crash. And I really like One Wild Night. I think those for me carry this record. I think there's a few songs that, particularly some of the ballads, like Thank You for Loving Me, kind of fall flat, maybe a little too sappy for me, even by Bon Jovi standards. And so some of the ballads maybe, I think, drag it down a bit. And then there's the rest of the stuff that I think falls somewhere in between. So I think this album is hugely pivotal for them in terms of, the things that I've said, sort of entering this new era, kind of things to come, and gives them that lift to carry them sort of in perpetuity as a stadium band, regardless of what records they put out, or if they never have a hit again, right? Or if, a key member leaves, this machine continues to go, right? So for me, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I don't think it's as good as some of the ones that came before, but I think it definitely has some high points that carry it. But it's pivotal for them, right? So I like it a lot. There may be some later that I like better. That's personal taste, but I don't know. You can underestimate the importance of this record to them, in terms of going forward from this. So 7.5 for me.
Excellent. All right, cool. Let's throw it back over to the Parish. I mean, the Elder. God, the Parish seems to disappear. I can't keep track who I'm talking to because people.
Puppies of Rock. I'll tell you, man.
The Elder of Rock.
So where did I leave off at Captain? I think I left out Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Crush and Beauty Queen. I like it. It's really good. Shows their Beatles influence. I would like to see it in the hands of a band like Jellyfish or something. It reminds me a little bit of that, even. And then She's a Mystery. I don't know, just another ballad. Doesn't really do anything for me. But it's got. I do like the guitar work from Richie on it, though. He does some tasteful stuff on there. I Got the Girls, a nice poppy song. Reminds me of What I Like About You a little bit. Kind of that bouncy poppy song. And maybe it could have been a single. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was. And One Wild Night is a good album closer. I like the lyrics, catchy chorus, good solo. And so I'll give this album like a 6.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Parish has entered the studio. If we could all join hands here on the stream and pray that everything works out. All right, here he comes. And ladies and gentlemen, the Parish of Rock is back. Parish, how is things?
I've decided to go with the phone.
Okay.
See if it works.
Perfect.
Good decision.
Good decision.
Yeah.
All right. So
What I've actually done is hooked up my phone to that big what do you call it thing at the cover. I've spot that, haven't I? But the cover of Bounce, that's what I've hooked up to. Trying to get better signal.
All right, cool. All right, well, continue on. We just heard from the elder. We're going back and forth, kids. So we've got a 7.5. We've got an 8. We got another 7.5, right? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Parish, now I can't remember. Did you already give your score?
I gave an 8.
You gave the 8. All right. So it's my turn. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track. It's like spinning plates around here. Anyway, my thought on this record. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it kills me to say this, but I like this record.
We found one.
We converted.
Well, I'm not totally. Well, I'm sure there are going to be some sucky records coming up. But so far, out of the batch of records that I've had to endure, I think Crush is where everything seems to come together. I think that 5-year break was good for the band. I think, well, was it 5 years? 5 years came.
Yeah.
These Days was 95. This is 2000, so it's 5 years. Although we don't have Bruce Fairbairn on producing this, I'm surprised. He probably would have produced this, but he had passed away. What do I think of this record? Well, I think this record's a little bit more mainstream, and I think maybe Bon Jovi needed that. When I listen to this, I don't hear a record that sounds forced. Now, by forced, I always heard, and I've talked about this in the other shows, I always thought that Bon Jovi never really found his voice. It always, to me, always sounded like he was forcing himself. This record, it just seems to come out of him. It's like John has finally found his voice. The ballads sound great. He really sounds great on the ballads, because I think when he pushes his voice to really try to be heavy, it doesn't work. But you throw him a ballad, he does a great job. It just sounds like the band's had a break. They've worked on their songwriting. We've got good pop hooks. It's mainstream rock. It's power ballads. Whether you like that or not, maybe you don't. You've got some electronic influences. I think the whole thing is very solidly crafted. I can see why this record put this band into the stadiums. Normally, on paper, a band that took 5-year break shouldn't have a big record like this. On paper, it doesn't make sense. But I think it has a lot to do with that track, It's My Life. Let's be honest. It was all over the radio in 2000. Even when it came out in 2000, I heard it and I went, that's a freaking great song. I don't care if it's Bon Jovi or what, but man, it's anthemic. It's catchy. What's not to like? You know? The Parish mentioned Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars again. Oh my God. What a great song. One of the best Bon Jovi songs ever. For me, I like this whole record because the sequencing works, the songwriting works. I really didn't find anything on here to really tear apart, unlike on the other records that we looked at. Thank You for Loving Me is a good ballad. John sounds great. We probably could use a little bit more Richie, but it's a different type of record. I could see oh God, I don't even know how I can say this. This is hard for me to say, but I could see myself returning to this record again. I would give this an 8.5.
Nice.
This so far is the only Bon Jovi album I need. I'm sorry, maybe it's too poppy for some, but I think it checks every box. And I agree with Dave 100%. This is why they became a stadium act. This put them over the top, I think. And they could do no wrong now. whether Richie's in the band or Richie's out of the band. That's a good point. I like this record quite a bit. I know it's hard for me to give it an 8.5. I think this, I like it. I'm just going to leave it at there. I mean, is it good as anything the Beatles ever did? No. But on the Bon Jovi rating system, this is an 8.5.
I wonder about the timing of this record because, it's the end of the 90s, 2000s. I think people are tired of grunge. I think 80s nostalgia was starting to come a bit.
I didn't say I love them. Hold on, Kelly. I didn't say I loved them. I like this record. That's a lot different than loving everything.
No, but to continue his thought, the prior year Def Leppard did Euphoria, which was the exact same kind of throwback. They'd had Promises, which was their It's My Life. That was everything was turning. Grunge and new metal were kind of people were getting tired of it. People were getting tired of it. That's the truth.
Nostalgia for the 80s was coming back. I think that's
it never left.
80s well, it really started to come back. You saw bands like Quiet Riot and stuff like that kind of starting to, do things again and
a lot of package
playing
tours
and touring again and stuff. So, it might have a little bit to do. Yeah. And then people hear Bon Jovi, they hear It's My Life. It reminds them of Living on a Prayer. So, and it's maybe has something to do with it. And not that that's a good song too. It's a good song, but
I like this record. I'm sorry. I just have to tell you how I hear it and the way I feel about it. I don't want to like it, but I
don't
like
have to apologize. Don't be sorry. Just
all these people are going to rip my ass open. I'm going to have to go to the ER. I'm going to be so beaten up. But I like it.
You remember, I called this on the last show. I said I thought you would like this because I think this is as pop as they get.
There's a lot of power pop on this record too.
Yeah, there is.
And I can't imagine saying the word power pop, but there's power pop on here and I'm hooked. Good harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
For me to tell that Mr. Bon Jovi sounds great singing, because that's one of the big turnoffs for me is his voice. Like I said, it always sounds forced.
Crap.
I don't know, but here it just sounds like it. Like you said, it just sounds like they don't care. They're just going to do what they want to do. They're not trying for something. I don't feel like it's forced.
Which is interesting, right? The time when they finally aren't as intentional or aren't as contrived, it results in maybe the biggest success in over a decade, right? So something to be said for just doing your thing and not trying to please anybody, right?
Right. That's the way I hear it too. So it is what it is. All right, cool. Well, I like one record. Well, there were some records that were okay, but would I have returned to them? Probably not. This I could see returning to. I could pick some of these songs and play it in a power pop listening party, and it would fit right in. Who would have ever thought?
Uh-oh.
What?
Could be a future on one of the future Grant's listening parties. You never know.
It could. Hey, I think it's decent. I think it's an 8.5. I think it's the best Bon Jovi album yet. Now we're going to go to 2002's Crush now.
Bounce.
No. Oh, what did I say? Bounce. See, tells you I don't even know. We're going to Bounce. 2002 came out October of 2002. Recorded from March to June 2002 in New Jersey. Is this correct that I understand this was co-produced by Desmond Child? Is that true?
No.
Who produced it?
Oh, wait, sorry. Produced by Luke Eben, John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, co-produced by Desmond Child and Andreas Carlson. So 5 producers.
So we've got 5 producers. Sounds like the U2 phenomena where they have about 25 producers.
Right.
So this record, I think was, well, obviously it's been noted, deeply shaped by the 9/11 attacks. So we have a little bit of a stylistic change. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Lodano to get his thoughts on it. Mike Lodano, what's your thoughts on Bounce and your rating out of 10? And everybody in the chat, I'm sorry. Go ahead while Mike is talking. Go ahead and give me. I can see some people have given me their ratings. We'll circle back around at the end with Crush turned out. So go ahead, Mike. Talk about Bounce, and everybody in the chat, keep your ratings coming, and I'll get them.
Okay, so when this album came out, I recall reading an article. It was in Rolling Stone, and they were asked, what was the catalyst for the next Bon Jovi sound? What was the change? What happened? And the answer came back, Richie Sambora bought a new guitar. And I don't know what guitar it was, but he played it all over the new album, and you can hear change. And it's much heavier, it's much crunchier, very different from the Richie Sambora that we're used to. And you can hear that right away in the opening track, Undivided, with that chunk, chunk, chunk. And the first time I heard this, I was like, wow, Bon Jovi have gotten heavy. And I was like, you know what? I like that. I like the idea of Bon Jovi going heavy. Now, obviously, that's not a consistent thing throughout the whole album. There's a lot of ballads on here too, but some of the heavy stuff is some of the heavier stuff that they've ever done. And Undivided is definitely one. And that is certainly the 9/11 song, you know, My Sisters in the Rubble and all this other stuff. But Now We Stand United. And I think it's a great song, even though it reminds me of a day that I don't like to remember. They did it well. And I'll be blunt, Bon Jovi is not always the kind of guy that I look to for good lyrics. On one of these albums earlier today, I was listening to one of the tracks, and he was like, I wish I could reach inside your mouth and reach down and grab your love or whatever. Yeah, Elder knows. So it's like, he's hit or miss with lyrics, but I think Undivided's a hit. Then we get to the single Every Day, which, I'm not a huge fan of this track. It's got a lot of looping on the drums, which is fine. That's a continuation of what you talked about earlier with the programming and stuff like that on Crush. So they're being contemporary, they're being modern. Tico Torres is in the driver's seat whenever there's anything percussion related, you know. But it's not to my taste personally. Then we get to The Distance, though, which I think is magnificent. That's a huge sounding song, and they've got orchestra this time. They got a lot of strings backing up these huge songs. Really love The Distance. Joey's a funny one because I like it, but it's one of those songs where it's like, again, John kind of like, he's not the poet laureate that people like to make him out to be. And I didn't care that Joey Keys was slow. You know, he couldn't read or write so well, but he always made us laugh and all this other stuff. And they like to get in trouble with Joey Keys. But this is one of those songs that you can't help but like sometimes, because John writes a lot of tunes about his young gangs growing up in New Jersey and, you know, the trouble that they would get into and stuff like that. And Joey is obviously based on somebody that John knew back then. And I kind of like it for the sentimentality, but kind of cringe every time that line comes up. I didn't care that Joey Keys was slow. Thanks, John. But then we get to one of my favorite songs on this album, Misunderstood, which is just so, like, to me, uplifting. It has that, you know, that I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a huge song. If that had been out in the 80s, it could have been a huge song. All About Loving You. I can pretty much pass on almost all the ballads on this album, so I'll pass. But then we get Hook Me Up, which is a good rocker, good solid rocker. It's got a good banging beat to it. Kind of simplistic, kind of block-headed, but what the heck? It's pretty good. I like it. Right Side of Wrong is another one of these ballads about getting in trouble as a youth. But again, I actually kind of like the lyrics this time. He's talking about driving all night and pretending to be Jimmy Cagney. And that's something Bon Jovi talks about a lot. You know, these old movie star heroes. I like it. Again, it's the sentimentality. Love Me Back to Life. Damned if I can remember how that one goes. You Had Me From Hello. It's all right. It's a ballad, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of them. They're interchangeable at this point in Bon Jovi's career. The ballads are virtually all interchangeable at this point. Title track, Bounce. I really like it, and I like the way they do that kind of looping in the chorus. It's kind of cutesy the way that you think he's going to drop an F-bomb, but he doesn't. Instead, he says bounce instead of where you think he's going. I love that song, though. I really like the song Bounce. I think it's got a great riff. That I love it. And then we get to the closing song, Open All Night, which is probably the only ballad on this album that I like. Nice piano-based ballad. But before we went live, Grant and I were listening to some Bon Jovi, and we're listening to a demo version called "These Arms Are Open All Night" from the box set. And it was very different. It was Spanish guitar. It was completely different from the version that made the album. So clearly they labor over these songs and debate and try out different combinations of instruments to see what works. And by and large, I think this album does work. It's a little on the ballad heavy side, but I like it better than Crush. I might be the only person on the panel who does, but I do. And I would give it an 8.
All right. Well, I don't know what order to go into now, so I'm just going to go. Well, we'll go with the original order. Parish, you want to talk about Bounce real quick and get your rating out of 10?
Yeah,
Take your time. We're good. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'd say is they were going through a prolific period here, because in between these two albums, they also released the live album, which I think is quite a good live album. It's got tracks across, I think, from 85 all the way through to 2001 of various tours. So it's a good album. Maybe the most notable thing on the album, the live album, is the cover version of "I Don't Like Mondays," where he duets with Bob Geldof, and it's definitely worth listening to. And like a lot of these things, I enjoy it because I was there at the time, so that was good. On this album itself, it was another big album across the world. It was number 2 in the UK. It was number 2 in the States. Number 2, I think, in Australia. Top 5 in most countries around the world. So this was another big album and sold nearly about 3 million copies. So not quite as much as Crush, but was definitely another big album for them. And I like the album. I'm going to repeat a lot of what Mike said, really. I think Undivided, well, I think the first 3 tracks are actually really good. Undivided is a great opener. Love that chugging guitar and the hook. It's quite heavy as an album. I think it's if Richie's underplayed on the last album, he's certainly got his revenge and got himself, I think, more in the mix on this one. This is more of a guitars album, I think. But Undivided's great. Every Day I like. The Distance is great. Joey, I think, is very corny. He's trying to be Springsteen or maybe even Phil Lynott. But nonetheless, I do like the song. It's fun, makes me smile. Misunderstood's really good. I don't like any of the ballads. That'll come as no surprise, but I don't like any of the ballads. But Hook Me Up, I think, is great. I mean, it's almost post-grunge. If you think of the bands that were coming through sort of late 90s, early 2000s, this could be by one of those bands, I think. It's kind of got this, it certainly starts with a really dirty sort of chugging guitar riff. And it's, I think, the best song on the album and a great song. I don't mind Right Side of Wrong. I think it's because I like the piano on it, so I don't mind that as a ballad. Love Me Back to Life is another heavy song. You Had Me from Hello, don't like that. Bounce, I think, is really good. Again, like Mike said, really, really good guitar on it. I suppose it's a bit Bon Jovi by numbers when you listen to the lyrics. You know, you can imagine he kind of wrote it in his sleep almost, lyrically. But nonetheless, I do really like it. And I wish the album would stop there, really, and they hadn't bothered with Open All Night, because I really don't like that song. So I think if I stopped at Bounce, I'd enjoy the album more than going on to the last one. But I think it's a good album. I noticed when we were leading up to this, a lot of people said they didn't like this album, which surprised me, actually, because I think it is a decent rock album. As I say, more guitars. And I'll give this, I'm going to flip with Mike, actually. I'm going to give this a 7.5 on this one. But yeah, decent. I think a good album.
You want to know something funny? Is that I almost said that Bounce should be the closer, because there's something about that riff and that opening drum beat that sounds like this is the closing song.
Yeah. And it would be a great song to close on. maybe Open All Night was more of a bonus track. I don't know, but they should have finished with Bounce.
All right, we've got an 8. We got a 7.5. I'm going to throw it over to the Elder of Rock. Now that everything seems to have calmed down and people haven't disappeared,
Yeah.
and I can keep track of what's going on now. Anyway, Elder, what's your thoughts on Bounce?
All right. Yeah, Bounce. Let's see. So, like everybody's saying, Undivided. Good opening track. Lots of crunchy guitar. Nice lyrics. And very, I guess, kind of unifying song. Kind of thing. Every day I just put it's a good guitar heavy song. The Distance. I thought it had a cool chorus that's got a good modern rock song, modern rock sound. It's got another nice heavy guitar tone, which is cool. Joey, I didn't care for this song. It just seems like a typical ballad. Talking about, I think I wonder if it's like an Americana ballad or something. A boring lead from Richie, and I just wondered if John, if he have a thesaurus of really Americana sound, John, Joey, Tommy, Gina. Does he have a thesaurus of names like that? I don't know. But anyway, and where am I? Misunderstood. I just thought it was kind of mid-tempo song, but it's all right. Good Richie solo. Let's see. Oh no, actually, I didn't like that solo. Sorry, Lover's Lament song. Disappointing. I put disappointing for a Desmond Child co-write. All About Loving You, or All About Loving, is a power ballad. It reminded me of Never Say Goodbye a little bit. Lyrics, but at least lyrics I think are from the heart. Maybe seem to be more about his wife kind of thing. Hook Me Up. I thought it was a cool heavy guitar intro, nice. Lots of vocal hooks, cool chorus. I think could have been a single. I don't know if it was a single, but I thought it could have been a single. Sounds like something that would go good on the radio. Right Side of Wrong, I just as another ballad. What it's like to be poor, or whatever kind of thing. Love Me Back to Life. Cool heavy production, but just another. I thought lyrically another typical Bon Jovi song. You Had Me at Hello. Good ballad. It might be about his wife again, so I thought it was honest lyrics. Bounce, yeah, cool heavier song, nice chorus. But John, come on, say the F word. You can say the F word. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want the parental advisory. Maybe he doesn't want the parental advisory sticker. I don't know. And Open All Night. Yeah, just another ballad. But yeah, the lyric, taste in the back of my mouth and reach in and pull it out. What the F is that about? But so anyway, but I just thought I don't know, these Bon Jovi albums, they got cool heavy guitar on them. I find Richie though doesn't let it rip on any of these like he does on In and Out of Love or even Wanted Dead or Alive or Living on a Prayer. He just kind of does these little laid back solos, and I just wish he would let it rip a few times on some of these songs. But so I'm going to give this probably a 6.5, I guess.
All right.
For perspective on that, the following year, 2003, there's a poster behind you of an album with no guitar solos. So we're heading into that era,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me of when the Cars reunited. Ben Noor was passed away, and they put out that one record. There were no Elliot Easton guitar solos on there at all. Because Rick Ocasek was in a whole mood where he didn't want any guitar solos. Well, what the hell is a Cars album without Elliot Easton playing guitar solos?
Yeah, really.
God,
guitar solos, but I just wanted Richie to just do a quick run or something. Some of these.
I want to hear him play. With as much talent as he has as a player, don't you want to hear him play?
Yeah, but I just he can let it rip sometimes, and at least some of the rock stuff he could have at least done it on some of that,
Yeah.
I think they were going for a very specific kind of sound in 2002. Somebody mentioned earlier, like a digitized sounding drum.
Mm-hmm.
So popular at that time. Natural sounding drums were the minority in 2002. Yeah, I mean, they were striking while the iron was hot at a certain sound.
Yeah. All right, let's throw it over to David. David, what's your thoughts
Right.
on Bounce?
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably just um, kind of shadow a lot of things that other folks said, particularly Mike. I think I really like this record. I think it's in a lot of ways. I mean, it's 2 years after Crush, and to me, in some ways, I see them as sort of sister records, brother and sister records, because there's a little bit of lull before we get another full studio record. I mean, they do. I think this Left Feels Right, which is kind of like redoing their old stuff, sort of a different thing, and some stuff happens. So there's a little bit of a lull before we get another studio album. So there's sort of maybe the next era begins when you get a sort of an actual studio record for them. But so I kind of see these records as sort of brother sister in a way, and I think there's some carryover sort of consistency with the songwriters. I mean, you still had Desmond Child involved pretty significantly. Billy Falcon is writing quite a bit. I mean, he's sort of but John's writing partner on and off. You don't see him appear on a lot of the records, but he has a pretty heavy presence on this one as well as Crush. Certainly there's the heavier, darker side of vibe, which kind of lends itself to the record in terms of the vibe of the record post 9/11, and so that sort of all plays. I like it a lot. I think it leans into sort of a little bit of the looping and the electronica and stuff like that of the time, but it's still heavy and it still sounds like a Bon Jovi record. It's not like one of these records where it's so far like, oh, now they're trying to be this other thing and it feels forced, like, oh, Bon Jovi's doing a grunge record or whatever. Like, it still feels like a Bon Jovi record to me. I think the first 5 songs, are really strong. I like them. So I'm not, I don't, Joey's a little bit different, but I first like Mike, I think there's something about it that I like a lot. I think the ballad All About Loving You is a little falls flat for me. I think this is sort of the era and going forward where I do like John singing a ballad, like, as we've talked about in previous, episodes of this. I'm not ballad adverse, but I just think some of the ballads on that we start to get in this period of Bon Jovi where it's just a little too sappy, even by Bon Jovi standards for me in some cases. But I do like some and not others. But I think All About Loving You doesn't grab me. But I think the first 5 tracks on here are as good as anything in this period. Maybe, perhaps, up to some of the stronger stuff from the previous record. On the flip side, on side 2, I mean, I'll agree. I think for me, the standout tracks that I will go back to this day, Hook Me Up and Bounce. I love those tracks. I'll keep going back to them if I'm, listen to Bon Jovi on random, and those come up. I don't skip. They'll always sort of, they have not kind of got stale for me. I like this record a lot, and maybe I'm contrarian in this way, but I like it better than Crush overall. As a record, I'll go back and listen to this more often than I'll go back and grab Crush. So if I'm grabbing something to play all the way through, I'll often grab this record. Crush might just be a little long. I don't know. It's got a lot of songs on it, and there's a little too much filler, but I like this one a lot better. I think it's strong across the board. I think it's some of their strongest work. I think it pairs well with Crush. So for me, this fares better for me in terms of rating. I think I'll probably, I think the same as Mike. I think I'm going to give it an 8, which is
All right.
slightly better than I'm giving Crush.
Just goes to show everybody, we all hear this stuff differently. I don't think very many. Okay, Wizards coming in with a 6 on this record. We're not getting. I don't think there's a lot of people in the chat that have even heard this record. Now, I will go on record that before this show, I had seen the Crush album before, but before this show, I had never seen the Bounce album in my life. Never saw the cover, had no idea about any of it. So, just saying. All right, let's see what else. Wait a minute. Cretan's coming in with a 5, 4 for his sister. Okay.
Crush might have been the last time Bon Jovi really got a lot of airplay, and I think if you're not a Bon Jovi fan, I think probably from Bounce forward, these albums might not even be on your radar if you're not seeking them out. Say Bon Jovi's got a new record, I'm going to go grab it.
But interestingly, it sold a lot. Well, sorry, it got higher in the charts. I mean, this got to number 2 in America.
Yeah, but I was just looking
Whereas-
at. I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing, but I mean, just looking at the how the just sales in America only. Crush was like 1.5 million or 2 million. This was 500,000, right? Barely. I think it was certified gold only in America. So I mean, that's a quarter in America only. It's a quarter of the sales that Crush did in America. So I mean, while it was still successful, it's quite a drop in a 2-year period from going to double platinum to barely making gold, right? It's a pretty big slide in America only. Now, maybe worldwide different. I mean, Bon Jovi is a worldwide band, right? But in America, it looked like it was certified only gold, which was of its last certification, which is quite a dip, in 2 years.
Yeah. I kind of look at this record as the opposite of Crush because, you've got Crush, which is very upbeat, anthemic, pop rock, hooks, friendly, happy. We're in a post 9/11 album. This is darker. I mean, it's introspective. This is kind of the way the country felt after post 9/11. And I think the feelings that people felt kind of go hand in hand with this record. Now, does that mean it's a better record? Well, a couple of tracks on here. Every Day, All About Love got solid radio airplay, from what I understand. I don't think it's quite as... It's heavier. The problem that I have with this record, as opposed to the other records, is that the guitar tone on here does not, to me, I have an issue with the guitar sound. It's so gritty and heavy that it just doesn't even sound like Richie Sambora to me. It could have been anybody coming in here playing that. Where's that trademark Richie Sambora sound? I don't have it. Now, I understand that we're trying something different. Evidently, Richie got a new guitar or a new effect, and he's, driving it home. But, the guitar sound kind of goes hand in hand with the way this record sounds. Darker. That's fine, but that's really not for me. I think that some people may like the heavier edge. Me, I prefer more of a poppy Bon Jovi. They seem to be... I don't know. I don't think that this record is quite as it's raw, but I don't think it's quite as honed in. I don't think the songs are quite. Did we just lose somebody?
I think we lost Parish again.
Parish again. Wait a minute. Let me bring you back. I don't. I just don't look that this is quite up to the. It's not up to Crush to me, and we all hear it differently, but I don't think I'd return to this record. I do think that there's some hooks on it. I do find it a bit uneven. Some people may like it. It's just not quite what I want. I don't know. It didn't sell as well. I don't think I'll return to Crush, but I mean Crush, but Bounce. God damn, one name albums. What would I give this? I think I could give this probably a 6. I mean, it's okay, but the guitar, I'm out on the guitar tone. I want Richie to sound like Richie, and he doesn't sound like Richie.
I kind of hear that. I kind of felt that way a little bit too. Like it didn't sound like Bon Jovi in that sense.
It didn't. No.
A little bit, yeah. And
now maybe they were trying to break away from that.
I get it. It's crushing guitar tone, but yeah, it doesn't sound like what you hear from Richie normally.
It's kind of not what I want. Now, I appreciate everybody else that likes it. In and out of love. I'm not in love with Bon Jovi. I like Crush Grant, as a record.
You rated it higher than Cretin's sister did.
So that says something. I'm surprised Cretin's sister didn't like Crush. That seems like something. Christian's here. Christian, nice to see you. So anyway, all right, Nathan's coming in. Nathan's giving this a 9. Wow. I gave it a 6.
Cool.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm disappointed in the album because Tico's is wearing 2 different glasses on 2 pictures and no glass. Oh, for goodness, be consistent. Good God Almighty! God. All right. Well, I think we're at an hour. We can wrap this dog up.
Yeah.
Richie shines on the first 4 or 5 albums. Well, we've got 2 more albums to talk to next month. Anyway, so what do we have? For Crush, we come up with a 7. Wow, I'm kind of surprised. We got a 7.2 for Crush, taking everybody in consideration, even everybody who hates Bon Jovi. We got that. And then for Bounce, we come up with I'm kind of surprised. Got a 6.7. Not that far off.
Results.
Okay. Usually when we do these shows, we pretty much all line up, and all the scores pretty much. Everybody pretty much. Nothing's ever been just absolutely butchered to death. I can handle both of these scores, and it is what it is. Gentlemen, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up? What's happening in your world, Ladano, real quick? Anything coming up on the channel? What's happening?
Yeah. You remember back around this time, there was a cartoon out called Napster Bad, and it went viral.
Mhm.
We've got Bob Seska from Camp Chaos on the show on Friday. We're going to talk about Iron Maiden's Visions of the Beast, for which he did 6 music videos. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about Napster Bad.
All right. I don't know. Elder, anything coming up? I know you have a channel. Anything coming up on your channel?
Not at the moment. Well, I might give I'm going to go see Dogma, a band called Dogma tomorrow, which if you've heard, there's been a lot of drama about that band. Members getting fired and things like that, but now they got replacement members. Anyway, so
They
I'm going to go
canceled
see
the show here.
Oh, no.
Canceled the show here, Elder. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's when they were going through the lineup change. They the singer and the 2 guitar players left the band because they're saying management's screwing them over. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but there's got replacement members, and so I've had tickets for a little bit. So I don't know. I'll go tomorrow. It's tomorrow night. Hopefully it goes on, and I'll maybe give a review of the show on my channel.
There you go. Give a shout out. Anyway. All right. Anybody else have anything? David?
Only to
Parish?
say I've got tickets for Bon Jovi next autumn. Wembley Stadium, 3 nights sold out within an hour of going on sale. So it just goes to show how popular they still are.
Didn't they add a date or 2? Aren't they doing?
They did. So they had one day that sold out. I managed to get dates for the second. And then that sold out. And then yesterday released the 3rd date. That sold out.
Amazing.
Edinburgh sold out. Dublin sold out. Apparently they've sold out 5 nights at Madison Square Garden. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
So still very and over here.
Crush.
Yeah, and over here they were all over the news. They were on every TV program you could think of, all over the front page. John Bon Jovi. Everywhere he was even on going into the centre of London, Oxford Street, signing autographs. He was at soup kitchens giving out soup, I guess, at soup kitchens and things like that. So I know he was doing all of that to publicise the concert, but he was absolutely everywhere.
Look at that. Bon Jovi's still a big band in the UK. Mike, what's the perception of Bon Jovi as a band in Canada?
Well, about the same as the United States.
Okay.
A lot of people still love them, and a lot of people are critical of certain lineup changes and certain vocal changes.
I
think the bigger you are, the bigger amount of detractors you have. I mean, I hear a lot of negative about Metallica, yet all they do is sell out football stadiums. So I
always think about Nickelback. People, everybody hating Nickelback, but yet they were selling out shows. So I don't know. I don't really care about Nickelback, but
I don't either. But
I just always thought that was funny. That would be like.
best-selling rock artist of the 2000s, Nickelback.
All right.
Yeah.
How do I get this hour back? Guess I'll have to listen to some old Dio. Well, that might be a good start for you, Marlon. Good luck. All right, we're going to wrap this dog up. I want to thank this panel for tonight. We will be back next month with what would be our 2 next albums.
I was gonna say, are we gonna bounce? No pun intended. Are we gonna bounce over to? Are we gonna skip this left field's right and go to then the box?
Have a Nice Day would be next one.
Have a Nice Day, right? Are we gonna go to Have a Nice Day then?
And Lost Highway.
All right, Have a Nice Day and Lost Highway.
Lost Highway, I think, is where we go.
All right,
If
looking
we're
forward
all
to
in agreement.
Although I was interested to hear that Grant has got the box set.
I don't have the box set.
Oh, I thought you said you were listening to it earlier.
I was with Grant via this.
Oh, I get you.
Ladano has it. No, I don't have it. Come on, I'm not that crazy. What are you talking about? The people are going to hate me now because of my rating, but whatever. Anyway, I do want to thank everybody in the chat for tuning in. I want to thank the panel. We will be back next month. Everybody, keep it real, keep it clean, Rap the Rascal, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. That was fun, as always.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Bye.
it.
See you, everybody.
See you.